Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fire Emblem Light over Vaima. What we are is a regular podcast detailing the adventures and various misadventures of our journey through a Fire Emblem and D&D based tabletop RPG. I am your GM, your hostess with the mostest. My name is Peyton, and this little audio message is going to serve as a sort of introduction into our world and our system before we kind of throw you right on in there. So, as I mentioned earlier, we are a Fire Emblem based tabletop RPG. This is based around the lore and the classes of the Fire Emblem franchise. It takes place in an original world known as Vaima. So if you're not 100% familiar with the Fire Emblem franchise, don't you worry. We're not going to be referencing actual canon things that happened within any of the Fire Emblem games, except maybe to joke about them. So a little bit about Vaima. It is a fan-created world based around the lore of Fire Emblem, and it consists of 8 kingdoms, and each of the kingdoms is overseen by a spectral dragon god. Each of these dragon gods is based off of one of the elements. So, like, for example, there's the kingdom of Gilamore, which is overseen by the dragon of water. There's Taiwei, which is overseen by the dragon of ice. Kaelwick, which is overseen by the dragon of fire. Alnwick, which is overseen by the dragon of wind. Paisley, which is overseen by the dragon of shadow. Murstone, which is overseen by the dragon of earth. And Ermog, which is overseen by the dragon of light. And Exeter, which is overseen by the dragon of blood. Ooh, spooky. And we will reveal a little bit more about these kingdoms as the game goes on. Each of them has a very unique culture, unique NPCs, unique things about them. And now I will introduce our party to you. I'll give you a quick little explanation of who's who, and then I'll let the players kind of get a bit more in depth with you. So first of all, we have Ashton, which is our Pegasus Knight. We have Bruce, who is our Cleric. Damirna, who is our Fighter. Nyrus, who is our Dark Mage. Trimalchio, who is our Witch. Fennel, who is our Wyvern Knight. And Sir Tulloch, who is our Armored Knight. And like I said earlier, we'll let the players go into more detail about what their characters are all about and everything that's going on with them. And now I'd like to detail a little bit of what happened in our first session for y'all, because unfortunately the recording of that has been lost to the ether. So I'll give you a quick little recap before you can jump into our first official episode. So essentially, what happened in our first session was the party begins in Ermog, a little fishing town known as Azmarin on the southern coast of Ermog. And the party stumbles upon a young man in a bar who is very distressed, crying into his beer. He reveals himself to be the incompetent but otherwise friendly Lord Mio, who has run away from home because he had a sacred family heirloom, a sacred sword, stolen from him by some brigands, and he's very, very embarrassed, doesn't want to tell his dad about it, so he runs off to this little city of Azmarin, and he puts out a bounty, and attracts a bunch of mercenaries and bounty hunters from all over to try and get this sword back, and that is how our party is recruited. So they go with Mio and his young retainer named Evie, off to fight some brigands, and through various misadventures, our characters get to know one another. This first session only took place with Ashton, Nyrus, Trimalchio, and Fennel, and then the other 3 party members will be introduced in our first session. There will be a short highlight video from what I did manage to grab from our first session, some in-character introductions, some other things like that. So I look forward to seeing you around and presenting this adventure to you. And I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much.